NXT's pretty good this week, yeah.
All right, so next we're going to go into Ring of Honor and SmackDown real quick. I did not watch SmackDown. I ran out of time. I was like, I could put a bunch of content out, or I could do SmackDown. And you're watching SmackDown, so I'll let you tell me about SmackDown.
Okay.
So, Ring of Honor, 3 matches, like your usual 3 matches. You had Dragon Lee and Kenny King versus the Briscoes. They're back together. They were feuding with each other right before COVID. They came back together.
Okay.
11-minute match. With all 4 of those people involved, it had to have been a decent match. Number 2, Mike Bennett.
Mr. Maria
Kanellis defeated Bateman. I thought it said Batman at first.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Who was it that recently said that they were sorry that they asked Mike and Maria to come to WWE because they just got buried?
Oh, I read that. I don't remember who it was.
I can't remember who it was, but somebody basically said that they regret
begging
them and convincing them to come to WWE because they just destroyed them. Hell, it put Mike Bennett back in he had to go to rehab because he was so fucked up from his terrible push.
So that went 8 minutes. They had relaxed rules. Mike Bennett won. Mike Bennett has always done well in Ring of Honor, and I don't expect that to change.
No, I like Mike Bennett.
And then it was a 6-man tag team match, which I really think AEW is going to develop soon because they have a lot of 3-man factions. So I foresee that happening. Anyway, so it was Khan, Moses, and Shane Taylor. I know who Shane Taylor is. He's a big, bad mofo.
Moses? Like, Parting of the Seas Moses?
I don't think so. I don't know who this Moses is, but I know Shane Taylor's big. Versus Bandito, Flatma, and Ray Horace. Who were the current tag team champions. They have lost.
I bring forth these 15. 10 commandments.
Classic.
Yes.
All right, so that was Ring of Honor. There was no sighting of Jay Lethal. Sorry, Ron.
Sorry, Mr. Ron. I saw what Ron, you are a thinker. And let me tell you why, okay?
So, next we have SmackDown. Take it away.
Okay.
I have results. I don't have times of the matches.
Okay, and call out whatever I got cut out because I know there's a section that probably got missed. Open, Edge comes out. He just can't pick! So Roman comes out. Takes him 3 minutes to get to the fucking ring. Takes him 4 minutes and 49 seconds to talk. Roman says, pick me. Edge says, I played you. You don't need me. Sorry, I apologize. What Edge said is, I won the Royal Rumble. I'm in the main event. You want to know why you want me so bad? Is because you need me to be the main event. I don't need you.
Oh, nice.
Not bad, okay? So that was very cool. Out comes Sami Zayn. Why? Sami Zayn then proceeds to get super kicked by Jay. Okay, that's why Sami Zayn came out. To get laid out by Jey Uso. Roman whispers something in Edge's ear. We don't know what it is. He did the classic, like Roman, he says things. We don't know what Roman says. Okay, Edge kind of is like, all right, whatever, you know. Big E comes out for the next match. He has a couch. He's eating a Hungry Man meal.
I heard he had a couch meal.
He had a couch. He had a foot wash massager, like warmer thing out there. He had like his Snuggie. Snuggie was out there.
So is he becoming heelish?
No, it's Big E's goofy, super positive character. Because let's face it, nobody looks like Big E, acts like Big E.
Right.
You know, he's like a video game nerd,
of himself.
Silly guy, but he's like built like a human tank. Okay. Match 1, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Apollo Crews. Apollo has a pre-tape, says he is angry. He's an angry black guy, apparently, because apparently his ancestors are from Nigeria or something. I can't remember what he said. And he says that if Big E would have talked to them the way that he talked to him last week, where he told him to go back to catering and collect his check, that he was done with him, that they would have not stood for that. So that was interesting, but it was like kind of weird. You know, just be angry that you're angry, you know. Yeah. Apollo then proceeds to teleport to the stage from the pre-tape. Apollo throws Shin into E on the outside. He knocks over his steak, and it was like steak and peanut butter dinner or something. It was weird. The announce team is horrible. They are annoying. They keep asking Big E the same question 18 times. Okay. Well, why did you say that to Apollo? Well, because he lost. Yeah. But what if he beats Shinsuke? Well, okay, he beat Shinsuke. We'll have to talk about that. Shinsuke Nakamura should be my next challenger. We shouldn't even be having a match to determine who my next challenger is because Shinsuke was supposed to be my next match last week. Yeah. But what if Apollo does this in the match? What if he shows a good showing? Did he not impress you? And Big E's just like, I don't care. I didn't care.
Nice.
It was constant. It was the entire length of the match. They asked the same question. Well, what if Apollo does this? And Big E had the same answer. I already beat him. So guess what happens?
Shinsuke Nakamura.
All of a sudden, Shinsuke wins. 1.5 stars. This was not great. And then after the match, Cruz destroys Shinsuke. Throws Shin over the barrier, okay? Big E runs up and defends Shin. And he says, you're done. It's over. Go. Go to the back now. This is over what you're doing right now. Go. Okay? Cruz walks off. Cruz says nope. And he waylays Big E from behind. Picks up the steps. Runs it right into the back of Big E. Drops him, right? Lays him out. He's pissed. He gets in the ring, right? And he picks up the steps. And Big E's back in the ring. And he's got the steps over his head, and the ref's going, no. And he's holding it for a long time. Like you see sweat pouring off his head. He's got these steps over his head a long time. Big E rolls out of the ring, and he goes, okay, I'll put the steps down. Walks over to the ring, chucks it out the ring on top of Big E. Now, granted, Big E rolled under the ring, Cruz threw the steps out, steps hit land, Big E rolls out from there. Unfortunately, they cut back to this at the same time where you could actually see the apron shake from where he had previously rolled out from it. But full heel turn for Apollo Crews. Looked good. They sold this, that Big E had to be taken to the emergency room, all kinds of stuff. Oh my God. He just looks at the ref and says, all right, I'm going to put it down, and just chucks it right out of the ring on top of Big E.
So this is what the advice that Roman Reigns gave him 3 weeks ago?
Apparently, the advice to Roman Reigns was drop a set of steel steps on top of a human being and get your point across, bro. Like, that was pretty cool. Big E is stretchered out as they are taking him up the ramp. Burn it down! So much for his huge injury plotline moment. Like he's being rolled up the steps and Seth Rollins' music hits. Apparently Seth might be losing his Burn It Down song coming up here soon. I wonder if some music rights are coming up for that. Seth bitches.
Well, at least it wasn't the Messiah.
Seth bitches. He wrote a letter. He calls on a pre-tape power for a video package, which they threw up from last week. I want Seth's jacket. It looked amazing. He was basically wearing like a 1920s gambler smoking jacket. It looked awesome. And then he says his new catchphrase for the t-shirt that WWE is now selling online for Embrace the Vision. Okay. I'm glad we brought Seth back to just be whiny Seth. Backstage, Kevin Owens and Edge talk. They bro it up a little bit. Big E is still being stretchered out. Adam and Sonya are now walking with him through the back as the stretcher passes by this conversation that Edge and KO has had. Okay. Apparently Big E's dead. Like, he's just dead. Okay, match 2, the Riot Squad versus Tamina and Natty. Why are we having this again? Natty is the best in the world who proceeds to fuck up a tilt-a-whirl. She moves at Jeff Hardy speed. Out comes Billy Kay. Riot Squad gets squashed. Why? Billy celebrates with Natty and Tamina. Why? Then Natty and Tamina destroy Billy Kay. Why? -1 star. This sucked. Also, why are we destroying the Riot Squad every week? Why?
Because
it's they threw a dart at a dartboard and it landed on Riot Squad and they said, them bitches, they're done. Okay, backstage, Edge and Corbin, they do a thing. Corbin was in a suit and he was bragging about his like $10,000 suit and his $40,000 watch and all kinds of stuff. And he's like, okay. And I couldn't understand what his character was because he wasn't doing King Corbin. He was doing a weird combination of all the characters he's had so far.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't understand it. And then Edge goes, oh, that's nice. He's like, yeah, it tells time, that stuff. He goes, I got one of those. He pulls up his iPhone. He goes, oh, it's got a calculator and it can do the internet, do this. And Corbin's just like, just walks off and he goes, can yours do this too? Like, Edge just didn't care what Corbin did. He basically took a giant shit on Baron Corbin.
Nice.
Okay, then we have a segment. Ding dong. Hello. The guest is going to be Shayna and Nia. I love Bayley now. Okay, Bayley has gone from completely unlikable to absolutely darling in this role since the Broken Skull sessions, in my opinion. She's wearing a turtleneck.
So she's still wearing the...
But she's wearing a turtleneck that had a boob window cut out. So she's literally got the turtleneck around her neck with this section cut out of her shirt. It was hilarious.
So she's not doing the Ricky Lake anymore.
Oh, she says she's going to replace Ellen on the show. She gets so excited, she bursts through the door so hard, she knocks over the plant that's beside the door, and she's like, oh, it's very, very funny. Shayna and Nia come through the door, and they both try to walk through the door together, and Bayley's like, no, it's not going to work. This was actually kind of funny, in my opinion. Oh, and then Shayna's pretty awful on the mic, honestly. Like,
she's never been good on the mic.
She's not very good.
But you remember when she used to be a great wrestler?
Those memories are starting to get very cloudy for me.
As we'll discuss during the
Rumble. Nia's also not very good. And then...
Nia's never been good.
While they're talking, out comes Reggie. Okay. He proceeds to talk about how great Sasha is. And he can talk better than both Shayna and Nia.
But Reggie's with Carmella.
Okay. So
right.
Then out comes Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, boss time, walks down, gets in the ring, and Bayley screams at her, use the door! Because she wanted her to walk around and then walk through the door, which was absolutely hilarious to me. Sasha proceeds to cut an okay promo.
Okay.
She talks better than Nia and Shayna, but she doesn't talk as good as the next person who comes out, which is Bianca. EST goes to call out Sasha, basically saying that, hey, I'm going to challenge you at WrestleMania, but she gets cut off by Reggie, who all of a sudden starts talking, and he says that what should happen tonight is that Reggie and Sasha and Bianca should team against Bayley and Nia and Shayna.
So I can't see how this could go wrong. So you have a guy who's trained in Cirque du Soleil and is an amazing Cirque du Soleilist. Work with a decent wrestler in Bayley, a horrible, horrible wrestler in Nia Jackson, someone who should be in MMA with Shayna Baszler.
Which she's not because she had a terrible record.
Right.
Like, let's be real. Shayna has a job because she was Rousey's buddy.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And now we don't have Rousey, and Rousey's probably not coming back, and we're stuck with Shayna Baszler.
She used to be really good at NXT. I used to hate her, but at least she was good.
Well, you know what? That's a problem that we're getting is that when they go up to main roster, they wrestle main roster matches. Like, look at AJ. AJ is one of the best wrestlers in the world, and he's got some of the worst matches I've seen. I watched him in TNA have better matches against worse people than this.
Speaking of MMA and having jobs, did you hear the latest with our boy, the Freak?
Apparently, Lars says he's going to go to a BFK.
Bare knuckle boxing.
He does realize that people watch this, right? So is he going to have a panic attack for this?
In the ring?
In the ring? Because people are watching for this? Dude, it's bare knuckle boxing. You're going to get just fucking destroyed, homie.
Why?
Okay. Anyway, match 3. Apparently, Adam Pearce decides to make this legit during the break. So we have Sasha and Bianca and Reggie versus Bayley and Shayna and Nia. Bayley is still in her outfit. She's wrestling in socks. And she basically had, what's that, the style of sock with the Scottish...
Argyle?
Argyle. She's wrestling in Argyle socks. Thank you. This is hilarious. Reggie does a flip. All of a sudden, Reggie just does a flip and gets in the ring. Everyone is confused. I was also confused. The announce team was confused. I didn't understand why he just did a flip. And the announce team actually goes, I think Cole said, well, it looked cool, but I don't know why he did that. Reggie is apparently weaker than Nia because he can't pick her up, he can't move her, he can't do anything. And they solve the problem of having man-on-woman violence on the show because Reggie never performs a move and dances and flippy flips out of the way, okay? Shayna gets laid out. Reggie gets caught by Nia, who proceeds to then get double drop kicked by Sasha and Bianca. Reggie then falls across her and wins the match that way. This was a 1.5 star match. This sucked. Okay. But it was choreographed very well. Backstage, Cesaro cuts a promo. He is a completely new full face turn now. Sorry, Joey. And then Edge comes out. And they bro it up.
Wait. What'd you say?
So, Cesaro cuts a full promo as a face.
Oh, yeah, because I thought it was going to
You thought he was going to do a flip.
Yeah.
It did not happen. And then, like I said, he's broing it up with Edge. Match 4, Ray and Dom versus Otis and Gable. Match goes on for about 10 seconds. And then Otis and Gabe get DQ'd because Gabe pulls Otis into the ring and proceeds to tell him how to destroy Ray. And Otis doesn't get out of the ring, so they DQ them. And then Chad keeps telling him to just destroy Mysterio over and over again. And Otis does this.
So Otis flips.
Otis and Gabe flip heel. Because apparently the writers of this, who looked around and said,
we don't have enough heels.
Shoot, we ain't got no heels on our show now.
Which
we flipped half the roster's face now. We ain't got no heels. So now they need new heels. And honestly, Otis and Chad Gable as heels were fine. This was fine. And also, Ray and Dominic suck. Okay. This had no point other than to flip them heels. It was a storyline match. Okay. Backstage, Daniel Bryan and Edge proceed to bro it up. Cesaro and DB proceed to bro it up with him. Then KO comes out. They don't trust him. Carmella apparently actually watches the show because Reggie comes in and tells her that the reason it took so long is because he was trying to find her the perfect bottle to pour for her. And she goes, I saw what you just did! What are you doing? You stupid man! And then she takes a drink, and then she spits it out and says that it's swill. Okay, whatever. And the only thing I wrote down, I was like, well, at least there's that. At least she said she watches the show. There's TVs all over the back of the Tropicana. Roman watches the show. Okay, match 5. Sami Zayn and Corbin and Uso versus KO, DB, and Cesaro. Edge gets on commentary. Cesaro spins Sami, and then he goes to spin Corbin. He has trouble doing this. And then he gets him up and does it, and then he falls. So then they cut back to commercial, and he is just full-on spinning Corbin in the middle of the ring like it ain't nothing.
Nice.
So basically they went out there and said, hey, do it again. Just get your feet in position. Because he just did this to like 4 people in a row.
Right.
So he's pretty jacked up at this point. This match was really good. It showed Cesaro being an absolute badass. And then out comes Paul Heyman on commentary. Paul and Edge have a thing back and forth. Sammy gets tapped out. Winner, good guys. 3-star match. Not a bad showing from everyone. Everyone then proceeds to destroy everyone. Edge then runs in and destroys Jay, and then Roman shows up and destroys Edge. Overall, SmackDown was not an awful show, but it had awful parts.
That's what I read. That as I said, I didn't watch it, but I did read that it was one of the better SmackDowns.
Well, SmackDown has been passable.
Yeah,
I will say the last few weeks that we've been watching it, especially what I've been seeing, and truthfully, the thing that worked with this that goes into Chamber that we're going to try and get through quick is...
Well, there's only 6 matches.
Everything started to kind of get moved into positions.
Mm-hmm.
So they did a good thing of they started positioning people to get to the show. The show will spin us out. Mm-hmm. So Elimination Chamber.